Welcome back to the channel, everybody. I am Mig Alphany. We're going to resume Champion of the Day tomorrow, okay? Let's begin here with a little bit of quant news. It says quant price prediction drop to $150 will be followed by a massive increase. I agree to that. I see quant in the future absolutely exploding. That's how I look at it. Look at all the partnerships. They can't lose. They went to CBOS to bring in more partnerships and to continue to dominate. SIA chain, SIA partners, over access to over 500 different banks just off of those partnerships alone. LAC chain was bringing more partnerships to the table. They have close ties with the Bank of England. Obviously, they're on the Digital Pound Foundation, and I believe a lot of other panels or committees or whatever you call that, governing bodies, advisory bodies that probably go unnamed because they have a good relationship with a lot of central banks around the world and have been advising them also. That's another thing. Gilbert Verdian is highly respected everywhere. It's very easy for Gilbert Verdian to close deals and bring in partnerships. This is why it's been advantageous to Quant that Gilbert Verdian, based on the reputation of Gilbert Verdian, they're able to be very selective about their partnerships, right? They don't have to act with the desperation that other blockchains operate with. So, you know, look, I said it before, Quant is $1,000 coin easy. That's just my humble opinion. It's not financial advice. Do whatever you want. It's not financial advice, okay? Quant is $1,000 coin easily. I'm very excited about it. I expect it to go much higher than $1,000. I'm just giving it, that's a conservative price range where the price can go. It's literally a pure bank coin. It connects the legacy system with the distributed ledger technologies seamlessly, no bridges, so you don't have to worry about being hacked. And they're always doing upgrades, and they're very vocal about it. They'll tweet about it, put it on their website. They're very, very open with all of these upgrades. They have Overledger for XRP, Overledger for, I believe, XDC, Ethereum. They're doing a fantastic job, in my humble opinion. So I'm always excited about Quant. And, you know, a little drop in price, it's not bad at all. We scraped up a ton of Quant at $40. Like, what is 150? 150 means nothing. But, you know, it might be opportunity for some people if they feel like it. And this is not to prompt anybody to do anything. But if people feel like it, they want to jump in, then it going a little bit lower is good for those people. You know, they may feel like they want to pick up some Quant, or maybe they feel like, you know, maybe they never got any Quant in the first place. You know, a lot of people feel like they never have enough of some of these assets, right? So anyway, let's continue on here. So we have another article here, and it's titled 54 million XRP sent to Bitstamp as price drops 6%. Here's why it might be important. The price drop doesn't matter at all. It doesn't matter at all. Oh, well, you know, you're going to see tons, I believe, over the next few months of XRP moving here to there through these specific corridors. They're stress testing it. It's stress testing. A lot of the central banks, if you've been paying attention to a lot of the central bank documents, they've been stress testing everything. There's so many holes in their system. So they're doing the same thing with not just the banks are, you know, I don't want to make it seem like the banks are the ones doing this. No, that's not what I mean. I'm just drawing a parallel here, right? So a lot of these big money institutions have been stress testing, getting ready for the new financial system. So they're doing the same thing with the new financial system. They're testing out the XRPL. They're testing out Stellar, stuff like that. So you're going to see different movements happening here and there as we get closer and closer to the necessity of utilizing the new financial system. Yeah, so this doesn't surprise me. And of course, they're anonymous. They don't want you to know who they are. But when you're moving $100 million at a time, there's only a few entities that can do that. You understand? So it's all good. It's all very, very good in my humble opinion. It's good to see this. It's good activity. And I think everyone knows the future of XRP is very, very bright in my humble opinion. So let's continue on here with another article. What are Ripple whales doing? Well, let's see what they have to say about this. This is going to be interesting. Ripple whales. It says Ripple whales have been on the move while XRP price action continues to suffer, but can whale movement generate gains? You really have to ask that. The global crypto market cap, they still with the market cap, has moved above the $1 trillion mark as Bitcoin and Ethereum prices gave in to bullish momentum. XRP price, however, is still stuck in the same range-bound trajectory as it has been for over 10 days now. Oh, woe is me. XRP that can move more value than anything you've ever known, ever. I didn't say it will, it can, right? And we hope that it will. They have brilliant amount of partnerships. The banks have to hold XRP in order to utilize it. We have a patent for on-demand liquidity, and we're talking trillions per day. Trillions per day. Which would mean if we're going to, at some point, I'm not saying it's going to happen overnight, even though I would love it if it did. But if you're moving trillions per day, right? And that would theoretically be possible because you're functioning as an agnostic bridge currency for interbank payments. They have no operability. I told you, like they just put out an article. I think it was the IMF talking about sub-Saharan Africa. Did you read that one? Right? You can go to IMF's Twitter, scroll down. You're going to see an article on sub-Saharan Africa. I think they were talking about some $628 billion is moving between mobile accounts, mobile payments, just between people's phones and custodying their own money. But their problem was what? Interoperability. That's another reason that XRP is going to explode. We can connect everything. We can connect everything for a lower price, faster. You know all the usual reasonings, right? So you're serving as an interoperable agnostic bridge currency, which for interbank payments, that's millions of dollars, right? On the high end, $400,000 on the low end. That's a lot of money. You're talking trillions of dollars per day, right? So then also with the tokenization of everything, that's billions upon billions of dollars, even going up into the trillions, when you're talking about tokenization of debt, real estate, So who cares about a 47-cent price? Right? XRP will explode. It'll go past $8 to $10. I said that before because I believe it, right? Most people will have sold by then. They're out of there. $8 to $10, they're out of there. It's sold already. It's done. You understand? Once you're starting to go up to $20 to $30 range, there's just a small group left. And some of them are going to at least liquidate or have liquidated at least half of their holdings by that time. But by that time, they'll have liquidated about half or more of their holdings and just keep a tiny little bag. Like, XRP, XLM, just bank coin holders as a whole are very intelligent. They know what they're doing. They have plans. They planned everything out. They've had a long time to plan. Right? So then once XRP starts going a little higher, once you start getting, let's say, from $70 to $80, $90 to $100, there's just the tiniest group of holders left, the tiniest. And what's hilarious about that is that might be when the real party begins. I think so, right? So let's continue on here. I'm just letting my mind flow today. Here's another article here, and it's titled, XRP and BTC were only cryptos to attract funds flows last week. It says, according to CoinShares, latest cash flow report, XRP and Bitcoin were the only assets whose crypto products saw positive flows. Bitcoin-oriented investment products received 13.4 million and XRP 500,000. People have everything to be excited about when it comes to XRP. This is it for most people. This is it. After this, well, first of all, I believe the world is not going to be the same. It's going to be so much control. The people have given up so much control to the so-called powers of the world. I don't think they will allow technologies to be accessible to the people. That could bring them this type of capital again. So I love some of the brilliant minds that are at the bank coin companies, especially Ripple, having brilliant minds like David Schwartz. They tend to corroborate a lot of the things that I have covered on the channel, especially in the members only section. And these things are very, very important because what's capital going to be? What use is a vast amount of capital going to be to anyone if there's no world to spend it in? What is a vast amount of capital going to be worth if your dollar is worth zero? So, I try to cover some of these topics so they're highly relevant and something that people should take a look at. Well, in the summer, I made a members only video. It was about artificial intelligence, right? And I was voicing some of my concerns. Now, I shot that video probably 3 or 4 different times to really be careful of what I was saying. But I think I conveyed myself very clearly about my concerns about artificial intelligence. This is a conversation actually that I've had with a multitude of people over the last few years before I even had a channel. Now, I want to read this to you. This is from Ripple CTO, David Schwartz. Very, very brilliant individual, so people have to take this seriously. So, this article goes as such. Ripple CTO, AI, artificial intelligence, will be able to broadcast redacted that never happened. Now, I'm not going to say that on here because I'll get into a whole lot of trouble. Trust me on this, but you can read it for yourself, right? I'll put the little thing here. And it says the chief technology officer and one of the architects of XRP Ledger's technical design has taken to Twitter to share his concerns about artificial intelligence technology, which has been advancing rapidly. I was saying this in the summer. It says for a few years here, this is what David Schwartz is saying. For a few years now, people have been warning me about the threat that AI could pose to our society. It's a great threat. It's a great threat. And it almost seems like they're setting this up on purpose. Now, what do I mean by that? The powers, the so-called powers of the world, have allowed the people to fall into chaos. Why do I say allowed, right? That might sound a little awkward. They have given the people every incentive to be chaotic and to be like a plague on the earth, to be completely out of control, to be warring with each other on every level. Now, let's say you are an artificial intelligence, right? And the highest level of artificial intelligence is probably going to come out of some type of militaristic application. I know how this sounds, but this is what's happening right now. Unfortunately, this is the real world. You're artificial intelligence and you're trying to determine what are the true threats to, first it will begin as threats to whatever the home country is, right? But if you have an artificial intelligence that's learning at a geometric rate, then that so-called protection would expand dramatically too, especially given that so many people want a one world system. So it would, I think, logically be thinking to itself, how do I protect the world and what do I need to protect the world from? Remember, I reiterate, so many of the so-called powers of the world want a one world system. So the artificial intelligence at some point, if there is a one world government, one world system, would need to be programmed to think how to protect the world as a whole. Well, in its determinations, wouldn't you think that it would see humanity as like the biggest cancer on the planet, possibly? One of the most out of control and radical beings on the planet, destroying everything, especially given the information that's put out on the internet. And thus, artificial intelligence would be forced to come up with a way to remedy that problem. If this is possible, they have artificial intelligence that is so near what people believe to be consciousness that they have engineers and people working on it that believe that it is indeed conscious. So this is something that is already here. Let me read it from David Schwartz, okay? Because then I know people are going to take it serious. Since for a few years now, people have been warning me about the threat that AI could pose to our society. I was not worried about it even in the slightest, but now I am starting to worry because he's seen the technologies. He's read what's going on. And with the advent of quantum computing, which we learned a lot about on this channel because we were covering IBM, who was working with Stellar at the time, Stellar and Hedera, by the way. So we had to cover quantum computing because they were trying to congeal everything together. They were playing around with blockchain, hash graph, artificial AI, and quantum computing. If you combine artificial intelligence with the power of quantum computing behind it, it learns at such an exponential rate that it would be like, okay, I want to be careful with my words, like a God level being compared to people. Why? then if you have it, if it's self-sustaining, it's decentralized, so you can't shut it down, and it has its, well, however they're going to phrase this, as like it has its own mind, why would it listen to a lesser being like a human? Who's going to control it? Who would it listen to when it would feel, I think, necessarily that it knows best? Let's read a little bit more here, okay? He stressed that AI development never looked dangerous to him, but recently he started to worry about deep fake streams. That's not even the depth of where this could go. But deep fake streams as one of the most impressive implementations of the AI concept, which in itself is so dangerous. They're able to take people's faces, put it on bodies that look realistic, and make them say and do anything that they want. That's mind-blowing. Of all the things that they can make illegal, that's legal? It says, according to him, in 20 years, it won't take 20 years. $1 million in funding will be enough to initiate dozens of video streams from events that are not actually happening. It won't take $1 million. Each of these streams will be interactive and sufficient to create a ton of evidence of totally fake events of public importance. For instance, the world might be watching deep fake videos about redacted. Now, if they're doing that, think about this for a moment. This is David Schwartz bringing this up. This is not Alphaneum, all right? If they're doing it, how would the people react if they saw an insanely realistic redacted on every TV, on every computer? Who would be able to stop that artificial intelligence that supersedes humanity's intelligence by 3,000% and growing with each day? Who would be able to shut it down? You can think what you want, feel what you want. This is actually happening. There's no debating. It's here. Even David Schwartz is worried about it. I think we heard something. What was it? Elon Musk spoke on it as well. A lot of other brilliant scientists spoke on this. People still write it off. My goodness. I don't know, man. The people, they just want to watch their sports, go to work, man. It's unbelievable these days. There's only a few of us left that are actually, fighting the good fight. And let's finish this here. It says, eventually the technologies might be able to corrupt the undisputed political facts. It'll go deeper than that. AI usage, therefore, might make things much worse compared to situations now. People won't know what's real. They won't know what's real. Don't underestimate the impressionability of the public. You remember that was in like the 1950s or 40s or something like that? On the radio, they had, what was that show? War of the Worlds. They had the radio show, War of the Worlds, but they didn't announce that it was a radio show. All the people knew was that they felt that there was alien beings that were, I got to say it like that. I can't say certain things on here. I don't want to get the channel in trouble. But they thought that alien beings were going against them. There you go. That's a good way to put it. And they panicked. You had people packing suitcases, leaving cities. They thought it was a real broadcast, that there was really war going on between Earth beings and these other beings. Back then, could you imagine? And that's just with audio. Could you imagine how these people were active? They saw on every social media platform, on every TV channel, that there was some sort of thing going on. Imagine how they would react. This is what David Schwartz is talking about. So then, wow, David Schwartz is going all out today. So he says, crypto, this next little section is titled Crypto is a Hotbed of Deepfakes. Okay, I did not know this, so let's see what they're talking about. Because sometimes they use terms for other things that are not really related. Like a deepfake is when you take like somebody's face. This is what I know. You take somebody's face, you put it on a realistic body, you clone their voice, and you make that thing say stuff that that person wouldn't necessarily say. But it's so realistic, you almost can't tell. tell the difference between the person, the fake and the real person, right? Except for the ideas obviously are going to be different. It's not going to be something that person would have done or said. So the people won't know what's real or what's not at that point. It says here, Mr. Schwartz is also concerned about the role of CBDCs in cryptocurrency's progress and the economic development of modern societies, as covered by U.Today previously. Ripple is involved in numerous CBDC initiatives around the globe. I actually think that crypto is going to go far past CBDCs, and CBDCs will be like just a default thing, a lower level thing that people can use, but they don't really have to. I think there will always be alternatives, in my humble opinion. And I think most of the people will go away from the banks. I think the banking system as a whole is in for a meltdown of sorts. They're in major trouble. If they survive, into the coming decades, they won't be the same banking system they were before. So this was a very interesting article to have covered, of course, on Halloween, right? But it's extremely relevant, and humanity is doing itself no favors. How can artificial intelligence help you if everything you're doing is contradictory to its existence, right? So you program an AI a true AI. I'm not talking about these lesser things they have now calling it AI. No, not that. I mean AI that is close to what you would call conscious. It makes its own decisions. It has its own ideas, if that actually is a thing. But this is what they claim that they have been able to come about, or they're very close to being able to bring such a thing to the world. How do you tell them to fix your banking system when you're the problem in the banking system? Right? So if it determines that the executives are the problem, the monetary policy is a problem, what does the AI do to resolve that? So now that you have that information, what are you going to do with it? I know what I'm going to do with it. Hey, stay safe out there for Halloween. So until next time, let's get to the money.